Wrong screen. Oh God. Hey guys,
Done it again.
my name's Steph. I'm Botanist Cool. I'm here with the absolutely fantastic Katie. It's me, Katie. Hi everyone.
I was like, go on.
It's me, Katie. I'm the Ace Attorney expert here.
Is my voice that high pitched?
No, I'm just really bad at mimicking actual people.
That's fair.
See, basically what I have is I have my few voices I do in Ace Attorney, and then I have my literally anyone else voice. So like, I have a coworker with me, sits across the desk from me, and I'm like, just like, oh yeah, okay, sure. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he might not hear me, and I'll be like, oh, hey, Steph, it is I, so-and-so. How are you today? I am doing fantastic. And this dude sounds nothing like that at all. Like, he's just a normal guy with a normal voice. I'm just, like, giving him, like, a nightly voice the entire time. Oh. All right. Are you ready for this guy? I know this is your favorite character. Are you ready?
This is not my most hated character that you voiced. Like, I think I forget who it was. Maybe Ethno, like, doesn't like your voice for this guy. I don't mind it. Anything's better than Mo.
Yeah.
And that guy in the first trial when you did the insane laughter that like
Mr.
blew my ears
Wellington.
out.
Yeah, his name was Wellington because it's like a beef Wellington, which I haven't had in a while, but they are delicious.
See, like, you call me the Ace Attorney expert. I can't even remember that guy's name. I know he exists. I know that trial.
But his name is food. That's why I remember it. He is a food, Katie. If someone is a food, I will remember them.
Fair enough.
Alright, let's get going with this guy's beautiful voice. Dude, I can't believe that. Adrian? No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would be very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner as well was, well, her. So, after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted the blood-covered button to your hakama. I can't say a word right as always. Huh, because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She's the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with one. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the end of this trial. It'll be alright, I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude?
Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right?
Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact's for her strength and her reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to fit in it
is Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder.
And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. Alter the suicide note back.
That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me.
What?
Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact.
We're being put into a trap. Is that what you're saying, Maya?
Mia.
It was Edgeworth.
Looks like he's still the one in command of the ship. Don't let your guard down yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. Edgeworth's the one who gave us the information, which means he kinda, like, knows what we're gonna bring up, doesn't he? I forgot to put something here. There we go. Excuse me. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation?
Let's see, what voice did I give her? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ungard.
I see. Now then. Okay, no cursing for 10 minutes. Thanks, KSG.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. And would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossip Land. If the judge was ever a prosecution's witness, he'd do all the work for me.
Anyways, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation with the victim.
Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
What is he referencing there? I have no
know.
Oh, is it bait and switch? I don't know what he's trying to get at.
No, neither do I. I just know I love seafood.
But I didn't kill him.
No one is accusing you of that, except Phoenix Wright.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then, witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place.
She still has the killer card.
It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice, as one does when they're about to faint.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime.
Beautiful!
I was really thirsty, Your Honor, and I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, it's completely normal for someone who walks into a crime scene to pour themselves a glass of tomato juice and just set it down without drinking it in any way, shape, and or form. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. I just realized my voices are too similar. Oh well.
No, you're good. Yeah, I know.
In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing?
Yes, she has a pacemaker. We have to give her a big enough shot, and then...
Mia, no, not murder!
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand?
Alright, got the pepper spray. Let's go. Psh.
Wendy Oldbag, give us your laser gun. Time.
Your laser gun with a sound effect like a machine gun? And what was Mr. On Guard doing at that time?
He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony.
Mr. On Guard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes?
Excuse me, what are you?
Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible if you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Unguard's knife from his room?
No.
Subject, verb.
Such a condescending asshole!
This is how I woo him.
Let me woo you with my grammatical correctness.
Fuck, I didn't know what to say there, actually, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Edgeworth would lay into you.
Oh, 100%!
Subject, verb, object. Right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue.
And why did you do that?
As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes.
So the show is supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Let's press further. Is that the only reason?
I beg your pardon? What are you implying?
You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had more of a personal matter to discuss with the victim.
Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time.
I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess.
May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got into his room?
You were in oh, come on, Phoenix! You're really grasping here!
I don't think he's being, sarcastic so much as getting details here. Like, alright, you were in shock, what does that mean?
I mean, to be fair... To be fair,
this is the only way he can get more details.
That's also true, yeah.
What, was I not supposed to be?
Andrews is on my team here, that's all I'm saying. Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had a romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. I'm making sure to call her a beauty so you don't see how much I'm intentionally flirting with you, and we can still keep this masquerade of heterosexuality among us.
It's wild. I think that's the most heterosexual statement he ever says in any game.
Amazing. Somehow
and you play like investigations, and every advance a woman makes on him is met with just abject confusion on his part. It's great.
One day I'm gonna have to play it now.
I think there's literally a line where someone's like, oh, I get it, you have your eye on that girl, right? And he's like, well, of course I do, she's very suspicious. And it's like, Edgeworth.
She's sus as hell, why don't you have your eye on her? Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. This is the photo you're referring to, correct?
Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest.
And the guitar case was like this too?
Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then, what did you do next, witness?
Why did you pour yourself a glass of juice?
Sip, sip.
Sip, sip. I am.
I wanted to pretend I was a vampire, so I poured myself tomato juice, and I stood by the dead body, and then I sipped it.
I put 2 little drops of tomato juice on his neck for the aesthetic as well. Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
Have you ever drank tomato juice?
I think I had tomato soup once, and I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
So I decided that it being cold wasn't going to help the situation.
Wait, tomato soup, just tomato juice that's cold? That's hot?
I mean, I'm sure it has herbs and stuff in it, but...
God, no. I can eat a tomato like an apple, but I cannot get tomato juice. No.
Tomato... I have an odd relationship with tomatoes. I like the cherry tomatoes, if in the right setting. And then I like tomatoes on stuff, but not like too thick. Like, it has to be like a thin amount of tomato.
What do you like peppers?
I think, yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Then I can still get you a yummy style. That's good. That's good. That's good. No, there's this one dish called yummy style. This Greek dish. It either uses tomatoes or peppers as a base, and I hate peppers, but I love tomatoes, so I only make it with tomatoes. But
well, here's what we can do. I'll try it, and then if it's too much, if it's not the right amount of tomato, because like I like pasta sauce and stuff, but if it's weird, then we can just split the dish in half.
It's literally a tomato stuffed with rice. It's a lot of tomato.
I'd have to try it, because like again, it all depends. But like if that happens, then I mean, I don't know. I'll try it, and then if I don't like it, we can split it. Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing, right? You make yummy style like 10 at a time, anyways. So I'll make a pepper one for you, and I'll make a couple, like 1 or 2 pepper ones. I'll make a couple of tomato ones. If you like tomato ones, more for me and my belly. You know what I'm saying? And you get the pepper ones. All right.
I'd be down to try.
Hell yeah, let's do it. But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There was no lip marks left from the wine glasses, just that anybody drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Why?
I was in shock. Leave me alone!
Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Von Coretta, you were in great shock. That's when you poured yourself a glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? It's a normal thing that you do. My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today?
I mean, yeah, Phoenix, you're being a little rude, I'll be real.
I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind. It's no big deal.
Okay. What was she trying to say just now? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was.
Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing.
Hey, newbie,
More
how you doing?
embarrassing than randomly pouring juice and then not drinking it and then leaving it at the murder scene. And also killing the guy.
Leaving all my fingerprints and evidence at the murder scene. So embarrassing. Oh my god, guys.
When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
How you doing today, newbie? Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards.
It was originally on top of the dresser. When I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry, I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else.
What kind of flower vase was it? Was it a Venetian glass flower vase? Or was it made of clay sculpted in...
It was made of glass, so not clay.
Was it bought at a Lowe's or a Target, or was it bought at a Kmart?
It was made out of cathedral stained glass, actually.
Oh, okay, thank you. That was very important.
It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. Why was my second thought immediately just like your mom? Like, what? What grade am I in?
Listen, we all have that part of our brain that's still in like second grade. That's still all about those your mom jokes, you know what I'm saying?
I was just like, where did that thought come from? Hello?
Hello?
I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse. So I set the... I mean, look at that knife. It's barely in him. I thought... Good chance of him being alive.
That would actually make a decent testimony, I'm not gonna lie.
So I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser. And that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase.
That's odd.
As some people would say.
Vase, as other people would say. That's odd. I thought she was always in control of herself.
Now, I do have to fight you on this, Phoenix. Like... Sometimes, like, you did in the fourth case of the last game, Edgeworth did pick up a gun, and he's a prosecutor. So I would like to remind you.
How could she knock down a vase at the scene of a murder?
You know what? Edgeworth is just like, did you just... I appreciate that you forgot that I picked up a gun, Phoenix. So I did pick up a gun and was framed for murder.
Listen. I know there was 2 shots made on a boat with a very specific gun that I picked up after those 2 shots were made. But...
Knocking over a vase, that's way too far, man. Too unrealistic for my taste.
Exactly. That's way too ridiculous. You can't knock over vases. The only thing Phoenix Wright will accept is if you are his secret lover that is currently I'm putting on a timer for 10 minutes because I got the cat ears on. That is currently, you know, possibly committing murder.
Now, I mean, Phoenix will like that, or you have to be a small child and then Phoenix will die for you. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality, you fucking dingus.
Doesn't sound like there's any blaring contradictions in her testimony just now.
I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to... being dramatic here.
Keep on the offense and not let up.
The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence.
I have to find something. I have to for my... I know what it is. If she knocked over the flower vase onto the guitar case, it would be wet on the inside because she said the guitar case was open. But if we show the guitar case is only wet on the outside. Bingo boingo, as the kids say.
Heck yeah.
Let's go! You testify that you knocked over the flower vase. You testify that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct?
No. Yes.
And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case?
Is there some sort of problem with what I said?
It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that is true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Why does
she's standing so sassy?
She reminds me. I was gonna say she reminds me of like the Totally Spies cartoon. Like it's like she got one of those like Totally Spy makeup bags in one hand. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly what she reminds me of. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what's wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case.
Ah!
What is your point, right?
That the case was closed. Sorry, I thought of a really bad pun. This case is closed when you started railing on about such deranged shit, right?
That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all?
No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said, other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
Hello, I'm back.
Hi, welcome back.
My Discord entirely crashed on me.
Oh no. Well, you're back from the dead, so this is good.
Back from the dead.
Yeah, the Discord dead.
It's like Edgeworth.
Now you just gotta be as dramatic as Edgeworth is and they'll be perfect. We'll get you a red suit to wear.
I want to play a great revival.
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. Just like Juan Corrida.
Can you show me Phoenix Wright? Can you show Phoenix Wright stuff? Can you show Phoenix and Wright and the stuff you made them for them? Oh yeah. I wish I could show them my beautiful art. I wish I could show them. I have to know.
The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all.
That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems there's no deeper meaning to this guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Davis. Make her testify. The empty guitar case, I believe, is a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. If it is you, the person who made a parrot testify in the murder trial.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in much later games, it's kind of canonical that people going against Phoenix Wright are like, get ready for some BS, y'all. It's gonna get crazy.
He's gonna bring in some parakeet or some chicken or some shit and we're gonna lose.
Listen, if you include spin-offs, the number of parrots interviewed is 2.
Amazing.
And the number of animals interviewed is 3.
Oh, the orca.
The orca, baby.
I kind of played that one specifically. I can't
The
believe
DLC case, so you'll have to get the game and then also the DLC.
As long as Capcom releases this on Steam later, I will get it. There's no doubt. If Capcom releases 4, 5, and 6 on Steam, I will get all of them.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
They are in the DS, but there is no like 3DS streaming thing. I can't stream from my 3DS.
Because for April Fools, someone on Twitter posted that, and it got me, and I was like, no.
All right, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is gonna be such a great testimony. Like, I saw a guitar case. It was closed, and I opened it.
I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. So I poured myself some juice.
Are you sure you were just dazed and not shocked? That contradicts your previous testimony, Andrews.
Yes, I was hit with electricity and then I was dazed. Suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. I just did this just cause. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Sometimes you just gotta open a guitar case. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
So ridiculous. Looks like this is really...
Sometimes you just see a crime scene and your brain just goes in tamper mode, you know? It's just the way it be.
I mean, to be fair, that's literally what Phoenix Wright does every time he visits the crime scene.
Yeah, but also it's kind of like his job, because...
It's literally the detective's job.
Yeah, but the detective's not gonna tell him anything. The detective's gonna hide stuff from him. Because it's Ace Attorney rules. Francisca basically fired Gumshoe on the spot for letting Phoenix look at the autopsy report. Discovery doesn't exist in this universe.
I'm just saying it's unfair we're pinning... it's unfair that we celebrate Phoenix for breaking the law, but not Andrews. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is now such a
familiar feeling, it's almost comfort.
Ah, right. I've missed how useless and helpless you are.
I've missed how much you act like putty in the palm of my hands, right? I miss how much you squirm under my control.
I miss what a dingus you are.
What a dingus you are.
I miss how unsophisticated some individuals, right, can be.
Oh, amazing. That's really funny, actually. Anyways, let's just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using any way to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man who is putty in a stronger man's hands.
Now, do remember that, because I 100% believe that will come back to bite him somewhere.
I don't... Oh, no, I meant to question that. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind?
Well, you see...
Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case?
She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not.
Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews.
Yes, it was me.
So, you opened the guitar case then?
Yes, well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case?
Huh?
Mr. Corrida's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it?
Why didn't you open that instead?
Why did you just rip his clothes off and...
Well, now. I know they were in a relationship, Steph.
Listen, I would think that the first thing you do is call for help, not open a guitar case.
Well, maybe there's a phone in the guitar case.
As the witness...
As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed.
Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. So many other things are falling apart in my life, I'd like to have one thing intact. I thought maybe the criminal took it.
Why would she care about the bright red guitar?
But getting back on topic.
Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside.
How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention.
I'm sorry, my friend is kidnapped.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body?
Yes, that's probably it.
I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try.
Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now.
I wasn't planning on letting up, but...
She's at her weakest now, so this is our chance.
Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with...
That would be assault. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found.
I hate how Edgeworth is
Big
always
gun.
so cocky. He's got a gun, Doc! I hate how Edgeworth is always so cocky and shames Phoenix's ways, even when Phoenix has beaten him every single time. That's true, Ethno. Let's see here. What do we have? Maybe she put the tomato juice in the guitar case first. Like, we don't know, man. Let's take a look at this picture. Oh man, I don't know which one it is. I think what I'm gonna have to do is like, if I were to present here, I would likely have to present the suicide report. Because like that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. Like she doesn't know, she would know because she wanted to find the suicide report, the suicide note. So let's try that. No, the music's still playing. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence in the statement now related? They aren't, are they? Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think over the facts before making accusations. Whew. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, man. It bears Caritta's fingerprints, not hers. Oh my god. I reread that and I'm like, okay, it bears Caritta's fingerprints, not hers. That's the contradiction. And the music stops, so I have to be correct. Hit with a 9 bang flashing on the head.
I didn't believe you until the music stopped. That's the only true form of judgment.
Yeah. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. I have no idea what you're talking about, newbie. What? Oh.
Why would you say that?
It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints in the guitar case were those of the victim. What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? Why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the awards ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the crime scene. That's strange because there's fingerprints on the fucking glass. You're wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
I almost clicked the attorney's badge again. Jesus Christ. Every time.
I'm an attorney and I say so.
I have your proof right here. This wine glass. It's not a wine glass.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints on this, very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think that's just a little strange? That you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Wow, that is so
it happens sometimes. Don't worry about it.
Order.
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
What do you mean?
I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here.
But it's just an empty case. Like the one I'm presenting right now.
Wonder if it really was empty, though.
But the guitar, the Bright Red Soul guitar was at the studio.
Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions, you idiot. The guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
You don't mean... It was a body? Oh wait, a bright white guitar. Wait, that's not right either. Mia looks really pissed at us right now. I feel like not only is she right now taking over Pearl's body, but she's reading our mind and seeing this absolute bullshit.
I mean, it's basically canon that Phoenix tends to have his thoughts written on his face because people comment on them all the time.
I know. Please go. Oh, dang. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. The witness was not wearing gloves despite the facts of the case.
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided.
Edward, shut up. I'm very stressed right now.
No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it was wide open in the photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
If you're so sure of right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why this guitar case has anything to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, save. Let's suppose for a second the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You mean there was just a bright black? I thought he was gonna say a bright white guitar, actually.
No, Phoenix said white.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna say the same thing though, which I thought would have been hilarious. Like, Phoenix, this is you in 40 years. How do you feel?
So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right?
I wouldn't say something if I didn't intend to prove it.
Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside the case at the time of the murder?
My attorney's no.
And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one?
Why, Mr. Wright? Why? Well, I just thought it might have been possible. Damn it.
I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be?
Yes, and never bring it out again.
Yeah,
He's still
don't,
somewhere in
John.
the background, FNO. Can't a foolishly foolish fool get some love?
Do you still think you prove your theory? Can you prove that the guitar case is not empty at the time of murder?
Yeah, okay. Wait, I know what it is. The costume, because he was wearing one, they needed a second costume. You put that in the guitar case, bada bing, bada boom. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what's in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... You're stupid, Your Honor! No. Inside this guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume.
What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it in to hide her identity so she can make her... Right, this is so convoluted. So somehow, Miss Andrews... yeah, this is still the same case, I have to know. Somehow, Miss Andrews, before everything started, before he even arrived, put the costume in the case. Coretta didn't notice it. She came by, murdered him, took the costume out, but only Coretta's fingerprints are on there, so if Coretta took the costume out, or Coretta opened it, and I'm just like, what the heck is happening? Like, no! Right, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, I'm on Edgar's team here. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's not the first time a murderer would have worn a Steel Samurai costume.
That is true. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? Oh, because of the, kissy stuff. That's probably really weird to hear in your ears. I'm so sorry.
I refuse to accept your theory. It's not even a game theory.
Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Yes, it's the... Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get the shot. This shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. That was deranged.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
Just like I always taught you.
So, the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
By the way, apparently, according to actual lawyers, objection can sometimes be a placeholder while you try and like sort out what you actually want to say.
Really?
Like, I'm sure you should have like something kind of in mind, but before you phrase it properly.
So you gotta have a rough idea, and then you
I mean,
gotta
that's
edit
just
it.
what one comment on the internet said, so I don't know how valid that is, but I did read it somewhere.
I know a lawyer. I can text him.
Do you ever blurt out objection before you fully know what you're gonna say?
I mean, he is a defense attorney, so... But I haven't spoken to him in years, so I don't want to. That'd be awkward. Like, imagine you talking to some dude, right? You just some dude that you knew in 2012. It's been 10 years since you've spoken. And you just go, hey, I got a question. Do people do defense lawyers just blurt out objection randomly to like collect their thoughts as they're doing like a lawyer thing? Like, how would that sound?
It depends on the friendship you once had, honestly. I'm sure.
It wasn't like super close, but like, you know, like we were like church mates, right? They went to the same church, basically.
Alright, then that's a little weird.
Yeah. It wasn't even in the dance group. Kinda lame.
The Nickel Samurai cousin would have been Matt on guards. Why would something of the defendants be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True. This is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the Nickel Samurai? It was stolen from a guard. It was a spare costume. What was the Nickel Samurai costume during inside the guitar case? Mr. Ungard did not take his costume off during his break period. In that case, the costume we're talking about was a spare one. What? Then are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. You know what really sucks? If this is true, right? And Andrews did have a Nickel Samurai costume in there for her canoodling, shall we say, right? That means she set herself up so unfortunately bad by accident. And that just sucks, man. Like, everything just coincidentally falls in place to make her the bad guy. It's horrible. Amazing. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean the victim himself had brought the spare to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, he was the German ninja. Why would he secretly bring a Nickel Samurai to spare costume with him? Words. What could be the particular reason for such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point.
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue?
There's been an inner monologue, Edgeworth. It's been, dear God, please help me.
No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had a Nickel Samurai?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one?
I can save and find out.
Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Don't mess it up. Please.
Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought this... Yada yada.
Phoenix, what are you doing? Are you crazy?
I'm presenting the evidence of gusto, just like you said.
Told you to present it with gusto, yes. I seem to recall the sentence before that was, think carefully.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Sorry.
This one is pretty tough. I really think you should look carefully at the court record. Carefully. And then search through your memories. The answer is there. I know you'll find it.
Now then, are you ready to try again? That's the wrong evidence. The reason why I thought it was for the smoochies. Oh. So my thought is going like this. Matt didn't know anything about a post-ceremony conference. So he would likely be the one to actually do it. Maybe it was a setup, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at the conference.
I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right?
But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ungard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was a setup. By none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference.
The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I bet you he was going to reveal something about himself.
Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as a Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ungard. Yes, I guess that's what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure.
That's funny.
Why is that funny?
It's just like it's like saying it's like it's such a small difference of like phrasing, right? Like in the end, the same thing happens, right?
Well, a confession versus someone else announcing something.
I mean, listen, he could say it's liable, and I would get that, but like, he's like.
But also, this is Edgeworth, subject, verb, noun. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Subject, verb, object, Edgeworth. So
yeah, that's true. Miss Andrews.
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me.
Not you, Judge. Yes, as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. The person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure that Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful, so intense, so great, that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? Do you know what the secret of Mr. Unguard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I'd probably be coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all.
Protect Mr. Unguard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, tell us some of the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
I saw Matt stabbing Juan the entire night with his knife over and over again, but I just didn't want to lose my job.
From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
This doesn't count for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense finds no fault in the testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung in the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down.
I was here to protect Matt, which is why everything in the crime scene points to him.
Would you say that that was your intuition speaking to you?
Don't confuse my methods with of reasoning with your own.
Damn!
Get dunked on. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. If you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. I've already known that, Phoenix.
They didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember.
May I continue now?
So, would you say this need came from the press conference?
Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for the conference? as that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on guard.
And you knew of his plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. On Guard didn't know anything about the press conference.
Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that you didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, the important thing here is the information that was not in your testimony.
Anyway, it strikes again.
Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct the testimony if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove him right.
Has Mr. On Guard done something to hurt or betray you personally?
Why do you ask?
You were the one who helped Mr. Critta at his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. On Guard, yet you still helped out.
The person on trial right now is Mr. On Guard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means the defendant had a motive to kill.
Why do I keep doing this to myself?
Now, see, that statement, like, sometimes Edgeworth has valid points. That one, I feel like figuring out more about someone who helped set up the suspected murder person, I feel like that's relevant to the case.
Nah! The Von Karma in him won't let him. The Von Karma training in him won't let him. But didn't you already testify earlier that Matt On Guard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover Mr. Matt On Guard?
I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at that time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaw of what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people here in the courtroom, however. The judge is glaring straight at Mia.
He's glaring at you, smart guy.
That is really funny. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. When the fingerprints on the knife, with fingerprints on the knife, could very well be clever camouflage.
Then what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that... Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, I'm back. It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. Definitely wasn't me knocking over everything in sight.
Yeah.
Spilling glass vases everywhere. Pouring myself juice. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
No.
Oh.
The other three buttons.
Oh,
that
okay,
button
perfect.
was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like
Evidence that's almost too good to be true.
Looks like you were out fox again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
Can't stand the sight of a man.
Only women.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes.
Oh, god dang. He really does just say things out loud. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add the information to your testimony.
That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt.
And how do you know that?
The ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up.
Add that to your testimony!
They were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard.
I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail?
Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm prepared and you're not.
And I thought I had it at this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up, it has to be here, but where and what? But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time.
Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? That knife was in the chest, right?
This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. On Guard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a very large audience before doing so? The same reason why Mr. Coretta planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. On Guard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant.
This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. And please stop slandering the witness.
As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid.
Really? Because to me, it sounded a little wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more.
You should know this by now. But you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk.
Got it, Chief. I'm gonna pin you down for this time, Miss Andrews. This was a tough one. This one's actually a tough one. I don't know which one it is yet. We need strong... I mean, I think what we did was we proved that this can't be Matt on Guard because it's just too short, right? So... I heard you...
Well, I mean, I don't know if that disproves her argument that Matt at some point sneaked in there separately.
True.
I think. I mean, I don't want to send you down the wrong path, because I don't remember offhand what the answer is here, but...
Ah, beans, okay. He was strangled to death. If he was strangled to death, right? From behind, why is the button come off? The button came off because there was a knife specifically planted there. Right?
I don't know if that's the case. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. No, never mind. Oh, wait. I know what it is.
Okay.
Okay, look at... I just don't know how to present it, but I think I know what the problem is.
Okay.
So, look at the button.
Yeah.
And then reread the autopsy report. And maybe I'm wrong, but... reread the autopsy report, and I think you'll see what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
I think it's the autopsy report, and I think we're on the same path, because here's what I'm thinking, right? You have... He's just been strangled to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he was stabbed with a knife. Yes, the blood could still splatter on. And if the blood, but like, why would you? Why at that point? Why?
I was thinking that if you stab someone after they're strangled, would the blood splatter on? Because I know that like the knife would be bloody in the body, but I don't know if like how much that would bleed upon being stabbed when there's no heart pumping it.
Yeah, no, I got you. But also, we got it, baby. It was the autopsy report like I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was autopsy report. So, go on. What were you saying?
No, never mind.
Okay. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Sorry, I just took a sip of water.
Sip, sip, sip,
strangulation.
Sip, sip. Wait, we're in a murder room. Are you saying you were so dazed that you had to go pour yourself a cup of water and take a sip from it? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? I bet we could have presented the button too, actually.
Yeah, sometimes you can present either.
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when?
After the knife was stabbed into the victim.
Exactly, which means it's impossible for this button to have been torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the
meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off after the victim had already died? What does that change?
Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve?
What purpose?
We now know the button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this off the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? What was it?
Just a memento.
It's a cute little memento, like, oh my god, gonna frame it, put it up on the desk dresser, it's gonna be cute.
I mean, that is a thing with killers sometimes, but...
Yeah, that's true. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Matt Ungard. There's no way anyone would take a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Ungard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally.
I can't believe I managed to bring the trial all the way up to this point.
Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end.
The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ungard is, and I can't save.
Pearl Fay.
Pearl Fay. Matt Ungard framed himself. Oh, oops, I went past Miss Ungard. Miss Andrews.
Miles Edgeworth.
Miles Edgeworth. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Chris killer. Get in this Pokeball. Boo! What?
What? I can't fit in a Pokeball.
Order, Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All the evidence points to Miss Andrews, except the ones that don't.
Well, how preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then, what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim that had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mountain Guard naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room, and the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he'd already died. The only people who could have done that were the person who found the body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ungard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Ungard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the guitar case? This is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Mrs. Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene.
Look at how sexy she's putting that on.
I mean, I wasn't gonna comment on it because, like, she do be putting it on sexy, but... Listen. You have to have some fan service for the flashbacks, right? You can
Just a little bit.
You can see a whole shoulder blade, Katie. A whole shoulder blade. Like, doesn't that, like, drive fanboys up the wazoo?
It's more her expression that really sells it for me, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, and also the posing of the elbow. I don't know. That's like sexy elbow.
That's a sexy elbow. Okay.
Well, I mean, that doesn't look like a very natural position to be putting something on. I don't know.
Fair enough. So we're gonna talk more about the sexy elbows later. Let's continue. Now, who would have known there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It can only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case, and it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If someone had found out she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a very different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show, yes, indeed, she was the classic day's discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the crime scene. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this legal samurai is Mr. Ungard. He would be much too short for his own costume if that was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
please stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews.
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. Says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Incriminate.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct. And Miss Andrews, that law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can be cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ungard's room...
Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood. Alright.
That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea in her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not to testify if things look bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done?
What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have just proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida.
Miss Andrews, you don't want to... Did you want to kill Mr. Corrida?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do?
Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she's the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing that the court can do. That's to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both prosecution and defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. That isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witnesses refuse testimony. Now then, the court is...
It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Miss Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated of whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there's one thing I'm a little curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and?
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirred. Not stirring a glass of juice.
My actions were unusual, but I've already...
Before you speak, I want to state that if you had any reason behind your actions, I would like to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request the witness testify again to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
Don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
Boyfriend, it's a little complicated. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
So you poured a cold one out for the homeboys. Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier?
Didn't think I needed to include something so trivial, even though that would have made me sound infinitely less crazy. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right?
Of course not.
Then who'd you pour it out for?
Mr. Wright, I poured it up for you. Right, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? I am talking.
In other words, Mr. Wright, be quiet and listen.
Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
So it was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Corrida?
I understand your frustrations about not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Except for an incompetent lawyer coming at your throat.
Slumped over.
Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping.
Is this me, or did that right there sound a little too odd? I'm gonna take a look at the picture again. No, his head is slumped forward and his eyes are closed.
A good little nappy nap.
But there's a knife in his chest, so...
with a knife in your chest.
Then, what did cross your mind?
I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. Then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. What a mood. Anyways, that's what I thought.
I see, so you didn't think he was dead at all. You thought he fainted?
I thought he was asleep at first. But then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone.
And that's when you went to pour out a glass of juice.
Yes, for the homeboys. He always has a hard time waking up. If you catch my...
Two.
So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. It's so disgusting that it wakes him right up.
I just shove it in his nose. And he can't breathe, so he wakes right up. I see, and after that...
if he doesn't, so be it.
I'll just murder him. And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead?
I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backward.
And knocked the flower vase over, so that's what happened.
Yes. This is what it all comes down to.
Huh?
This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case.
Isn't that a bit harsh, Miss Andrews? Will you tell us the truth this time?
I will... One thing I do like about replaying is I'm starting to, you just catch things better. I'm just like, oh.
See, here's the thing. She said she had put the glass of juice down, then knocked over the vase. But the glass of juice was perfectly still on there, because if she bumped to the dresser, she would have knocked the glass of juice over as well, not just the vase.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm gonna present that. There we go. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body?
Wrong method, right evidence stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Do you know what it is now?
It's the knife in his chest.
Yeah. Because remember, she was confused and took his pulse.
Yeah, but yeah, she also...
And she did say that earlier, remember?
Yeah,
Which makes sense if he was strangled to death,
yeah.
because there wouldn't be any signs, so of course you'd take his pulse. But and I just realized that now. I'm like, oh, that's clever. They hinted at it even before this.
See, that was my second guess. If that one failed, I was gonna do this, but on a different thing. But apparently, it just works out either way.
Yeah, I was just surprised because, like, I was like, oh yeah, they did hint at that before. And we did make fun of it being a little weird, I think.
What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Caritta's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man.
Well, you see.
I know a single person in the world who would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something out to drink. Your point is, Miss Andrews, your testimony just now was all just one giant lie. And your lie was proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer.
No!
It looks like the defense has brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant Matt on guard is not guilty at all.
That's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
But you're the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so is that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt on guard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. Now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt on guard.
Your Honor, the prosecution feels it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth.
Again? Oh my god. The absolute real truth? What are you?
Witness, do you understand?
Huh?
I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt on guard will go free, and in his place, you will become a guilty party.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma.
Huh?
Don't you remember, Phoenix? Ms. Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of others. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Ms. von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt on guard will be acquitted. Ms. Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them.
And what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Oh, please. Someone help me.
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The court can't continue all of this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what the witness did and what she did not do. And think about who was the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's almost like me except the woman crying over there, right?
Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, listen, Ethno, it's complicated in this world.
What's Ethno saying?
Aren't you supposed to take an oath of truth when you enter the witness stand? She lied so many times. You could be pulling at Obi-Wan Kenobi being saying like, oh, it's true from a certain point of view. And I can save. Perfect. I'm making that. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard will get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want the trial to end?
Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it is clear that the defense's theory is true.
You're wrong.
What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this, however.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you yourself absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Up.
Mr. Edgeworth!
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop. Please stop.
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have evidence right here.
That's
the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report.
What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please stop. I beg you. If people find out. People find out. Ow.
If you're going to say you would choose death, this is of no concern to me,
You piece of shit.
Edward, I know that you have like a whole complex about this, but...
However, before you die, I will pull the truth on your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine by me.
I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. When I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. That's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume.
Stab the body with a knife, but why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain someone. Certain cowardly man.
What did you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth.
The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time?
So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim on Coretta in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for murder. And this is her crime.
What? How is this possible? I mean, Wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. You're not allowed to be shocked or dazed.
That's her job.
But you could tell from a state room the fight. Are you telling me that? Are you telling the truth when you say you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is part of the gem in the ninja's costume, so didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice.
What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because one, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. So when I thought, I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt.
So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button.
First thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
That was so you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime.
So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife?
Gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body and moved on its own. Then, I stabbed Juan's dead body. I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspicious.
So you thought to rip one off the button rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Unguard's hakama.
Yes, that's what I'd planned to do. Things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I finish... Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. An inconvenience.
There's a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lada.
His spikes. Squeaky hair. There's also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's Miss Oldback for you.
I love how your face just matched Phoenix's face. Or not your face, because I can't see your face right now, but...
My attitude.
Your voice. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. So I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
You were the one who prepared the costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is the secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about that costume.
I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Unguard's room and planted the button.
Into Matt's hakama? Yes. For that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does this all mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Unguard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francisca, huh?
said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. If I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor, the defense still...
Right. It is pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is now over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Today's trial, it's over. I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something?
Edgeworth?
What is it?
Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. That card in your hand, it's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it?
Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember it at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now, I found this in the room on that day.
The room? That day?
Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card next to the victim's body.
Suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. Not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you ask me. As far as a clue to this case, I don't see why.
Witness, that card, give it to me, hurry.
Edgeworth?
Do you have any idea what you stupidly yet inadvertently done? This, I can't believe you hid this from me the entire time.
I didn't mean to.
What is this?
What is this all about?
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before.
That card. What in the world is it? What does it mean? Oh,
To be continued.
To be continued.
Which means that this is probably
A very good stopping point.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright, guys. I wanted to thank you very much. Oh, we have another investigation piece. Alright. Oh, no!
Why have you done this?
Okay. There you go. I closed it after I saved it. Oh, I hope I saved it right. Alright, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I had a bunch of fun. Katie, thank you, as always, for joining on in with me. I had a blast today. I hope you did, too. I hope everyone in chat had a blast. It was a lot of fun. And, yeah. If you haven't followed already, leave a follow. Follow all my links, especially to YouTube. I'm going to be putting some cool stuff up there. Take a look at the podcast, which will be updated next week. I haven't updated it this week because I had a 31-hour stream where I nearly destroyed my body, so it's A-okay.
Stuff.
And of course, check out AJ, the Fantastic Bean, who has made us a brand new Bean emote. And I've seen their new Nyan emote. It looks really good. And it will be on the channel once they're done with it. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay safe, stay Botanist Cool, and I forgot we're going to raid someone. Who are we going to raid? Who we going to raid today? We'll raid the Berry. First one on my list. Let's go say hi to the Berry. Yeah, get that raid message on, and if you have a subscription, make sure to that raid message everywhere. And yeah, you all have a fantastic day. I gotta go back on twitch.tv/the Berry or whatever it is. You all have a fantastic day. Stay safe, stay Botanist Cool. I will see you probably Sunday. I don't know if I'm streaming tomorrow. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right, and we're good.
Alrighty. Have a good night.